It's going.
Oh, yeah, nah, pretty good.
Thinking we should chuck a podcast. What do you reckon?
Oh, yeah, nah, I can. Come round, let's do a thing.
Hello, everybody.
We're mobile this year.
Yep, we're on the move. Fugitives from the law.
Yeah, so we decided this year we're just going to make a run for it.
Yep. Across the border.
Yeah.
Fuck yous all. All right, we're trying something a little bit different today. So if the sound quality is off, you just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
But welcome to 2021, round 1 of season 2 of What Do You Reckon?
How good.
And what do you reckon?
Well, I reckon, first of all, Happy New Year.
Oh, yeah, obviously, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
The grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, COVID doesn't know the difference of the new year, but things are looking up still.
Yeah. I mean that, for example, because we've had all the rain.
It is greener. It's literally greener.
It was all dry in December, and then this rain came, and then it was just great.
Yeah.
Just new stuff the new year. Everything's green.
Mind you, I think Townsville and Ingham and Ayr are all underwater right now.
Yeah,
It's flooding bad up there.
But I'll tell you what, at least there's no bushfires to kick it off.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. It's so far we're doing better for the start of the year.
We're a week into the year. It's the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I can't complain about anything this year so far.
Yeah, no, neither. It's been
I knew COVID was there.
2021's okay for me so far. It's been good to me.
So yeah.
But yeah, so today we're heading out to Topgolf.
Yes.
We're going to have a bit of active recovery time, a bit of male bonding.
Actually, have you been to any sort of fitness this year?
I woke up at 3:30 every morning so far and did a workout.
3:30?
Yeah. Well, because when I'm out there, I start work. I got to leave camp at 5:30.
Oh, right.
So yeah.
I got some new runners for Christmas. Tennille got me some runners. I've been for one run, and we had this theory. Dale hit me up to see if we could run 3Ks a day, I think, for the year, because it becomes 1,000 kilometers by the end of the year.
Yeah, right.
So I was like, oh yeah, I'll have a crack at that. And anyway, I did one run. It was 4.5 Ks, and I haven't run since. I'm still unfit. So I did that. We went to the gym once, Tennille and I, and it was a full body sesh, and that was full on.
Yeah, I mean, baby steps. He's back into it, because even though I've done those workouts, I'm still on Christmas holiday diet.
Yeah,
I really haven't sorted my shit out yet.
Yeah.
So I got to get that under wraps this week.
I have done something this year, and we've spoken about it numerous times before. I'm just quitting coffee.
You quitting it?
Yeah, I don't know. It might come back one day, but I was like, they say the whole New Year's resolutions, they're dumb and all that. The only thing is that the 1st of the 1st is a reset point. It's easy to calculate from there on.
Yeah.
It's just you can start it any day. I could have started on the 27th of December, but I don't want to celebrate it on the 21st of whatever month every month.
Yeah, it's the 1st of January is just a nice, even, that works for everyone.
Exactly. So I did that. The other thing I gave up as well, because my coffee was an addiction, I was like, usually one addiction follows another one.
Yes.
So if you give up one, it gets replaced with something. So I said, all right, well, I'm going to give up alcohol too.
Nice.
So, yeah, so I was just like, that way, so I'm just going to smoke meth. But basically, I was like, okay, not that I was never a heavy drinker ever, but I think I'm only going to drink this year if it's a celebration reason.
Yeah.
If it's a wedding, a bucks party, or something like that.
Champagne on your anniversary.
Yeah, something like that. But I just won't go out and just drink because it's Friday.
Yeah, copy.
So.
No, I like that. That's good. Mine is I've sort of been doing this thing lately where I'm only going to drink when I deserve it. So if I know those celebration things are coming up, it's all right, step it up on diet and training, etc., just make sure that I'm as healthy and vital as I can be, so that when I go and do that, it's not as much of an insult on my body, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But the thing is that I'm the same. I've never been a huge drinker, and particularly now, I can have 2 beers and I'm Cadbury. You know what I like? Yeah, I have a very low tolerance for alcohol these days. So even when I do drink, I don't need that much anymore.
No, so I just thought I have no reason for it. I think I've been getting these headaches. Actually, no, I told you before.
Yeah.
So, and usually, see, when I gave up coffee, Tina was like, "Oh, you're having withdrawals." So I've had headaches for the last month, and I went and got a scan done today, and hopefully there's nothing there that I need to be concerned about. But the thing is, I'll probably get a result back saying, "Guess what? There's nothing there."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What? What do you mean?" Like, "No, we scanned your head. There's nothing there." Yeah, we found nothing. Like, how are you even here, mate? So I thought, with withdrawals of that, because I remember when I've done challenges before, you get withdrawals, the headaches, no matter what. Like when you when you change your diet, etc.
Yeah, okay.
It happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And, so I was like, no, I don't think it's that. So I've checked that out. But when I was drinking alcohol, like even just 1 or 2 beers, I was getting a headache from that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I just don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Like, the thing is that I'm still not perfect, and I say this all the time. Like, I do my best to eat as clean and properly as possible. And with that, unfortunately, comes the understanding and the heightened sense of awareness that when you do eat or drink something that's shit for you, you feel it. Yeah. So it's like, if I have a beer now, my nose gets stuffy, my joints start to hurt, I get headachy.
Yeah.
If I eat something with gluten in it, I start to get a bit bloated. Same, like the joints getting a bit stiff, all that kind of gear.
Just make sure we're pressing record. That's all good.
So yeah, it's kind of one of those unfortunate things that ignorance is bliss. Before I knew any of this stuff, I thought certain things were healthy that clearly aren't,
Yeah.
It's kind of an unfortunate reality, but yeah, like alcohol is poison. We talked about that. Like, it's just shit for you. So caffeine, on the other hand, like, I think there's huge benefits from coffee, definitely, but certainly when it's getting to that point of addiction, like what you talked about, where you haven't, how much were you having? Like,
I was having like 2 or 3 triple shots a day.
Yeah, like that's hectic.
But it was more so because like I didn't start my day until I had it. It's like, and it was just like, physically it was like, my day isn't starting until I've had it. And I didn't want to have something that will justify my day. Like by liquid. Like, I just want to wake up, feel good straight away and get into it if I have to, or just not have to wake up and the first thing I'm doing is I'm on the hunt for coffee.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
and that's what that is, the addiction, is that I'm trying to break the need for it. Yeah.
See, I'm fairly lucky. I don't have much of an addictive personality. If I do, it's for like starchy carb type food.
Yeah.
Like, I can't help myself with that. But when it comes to coffee, I feel like it just adds to my day. Like, I can go easily without it, whereas a lot of people, they get headachy, they get that coffee monster, whereas for me, if I have a coffee, I'm going to have a great day. If I don't, I'm going to have a great day. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just I'm going to have more energy, maybe.
That's the goal for me, hey?
Yeah. And so, like, just a little creamy coffee in the morning is just a bit of a treat for me. It's not essential to my day. And I guess I'm lucky in that regard that it doesn't have that effect or that hold on me like it does for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, I was actually asked by Sam and Shonny if they have this deal. They have this like at-home coffee machine that like is apparently they get like beans from Zarafas or wherever, and it's like perfect at home. And they're like, we can get you one if you want. Like, you got to put your name on this list. And I was thinking, I was like, God, I do spend a lot of money on it. I would save money by doing it, but then I'm thinking, hang on, if I get this, I wouldn't be drinking way more. But I probably shouldn't do it.
Well, that's like, if you got one of those proper barista setups, it's like, would you go to the effort of always using it? Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, someone's not doing it for you while you sit down and have a chat. You've got to go and make yourself a coffee. So I don't know.
The thing for me is that my routine has always been, when I wake up usually, I get in the car, Winston jumps in, because he loves coming for a drive. And then we go through the drive-through and then I go home and start my day, which wasn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
See, now I'm sort of doing it, but I'm just going to get a juice instead.
Right.
So I guess there's still that routine that I have.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to fight, like, I don't have to go get the coffee.
Yeah.
I can go get something else.
Like, I think that's always a healthy thing to do, is to challenge yourself in that regard. But then also, you know, like, not beat yourself up too much. Because if you can get it to that point where you go and you get one coffee and that's your one coffee for the whole day.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a triple shot.
No harm, no foul. Yeah, exactly. Like, get a single shot instead, or get a decaf even. Start trying that, so then you still get that little placebo stimulant kind of thing, but you're not loading yourself up with the caffeine.
Is there anything in decaf? Is there still some form of caffeine?
I believe there is still
Like the
needle bits.
So would a long black still be way stronger than a decaf?
Like a decaf long black? Do you mean?
Yeah.
No.
Oh no, I mean, so your normal long black.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about calories and kilojoules this way. Yeah,
Right.
That makes no sense. Don't worry about that.
I was like, we're talking, different things.
See, yeah, because I remember when I looked on the, I always looked at the board when I was on the challenge in like how many kilojoules it is, and I remember the ice long black was like nothing.
Yeah, there's like very little calories in a long black.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you start adding your milk, that's where it comes in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Whereas caffeine content will always remain the same. But the thing is that, like, when you consume coffee, it's better to have it with something fatty, because that controls the release and how you metabolize the caffeine.
Right.
So that's why bulletproof coffee took off. If you're having it with that grass-fed butter, it just controls the release of the caffeine through your system and how it's processed.
Yeah.
So rather than getting that one big spike,
Yeah.
it's just a slow drip feed through the day. And so the big thing for me is that, like, if you have a coffee and you have that one in the morning, awesome. But if you're starting to have a cup of coffee after, say, 2 o'clock in the day, 2 p.m. in the afternoon, that's going to fuck up your sleep.
Yeah.
Because of the cortisol levels, and because caffeine has a half-life in your system as well.
Yeah.
So 6 hours after you consumed it, you've still got half the amount of caffeine in your system.
Yeah.
So, like, me personally, I would be hard-pressed having a coffee after 10 a.m. purely because of the effect it's going to have on my sleep.
Yeah.
And if I do, it's because I'm giving myself a little bit of a treat in the afternoon, and it's decaf.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out to Lionheart Fight Club that we're going past, Mike Tapau.
Oh, yeah.
They're an affiliate of Tribal MMA.
Right. There you
Yeah, Mike Tapau is a sick fighter. If anyone has an interest in UFC, look up his fights with XFC, and I think he's been on Coastal Combat. He's a legend, and it's a very cool fight club. And what is this area called?
This is Cornubia, I guess.
Cornubia. So if anyone's thinking of getting into martial arts in Cornubia, check out Lionheart Fight Club. We just drove past it.
We just drove past it.
On the way to Top Golf.
We're going to take a short break.
Western soda biscuits.
What else is new? What else is happening?
Well, I guess, like, we're talking about 2021, so, like, goals, that's always a thing at the start of a new year, is, New Year's resolutions and goals, etc. What are you going to do for the year?
Yeah.
So, like, what's yours?
I have my own business goals, in which I have started. Like, I've started with Shred Life and getting that happening. So yesterday I had a Zoom meeting with my designer over in the US.
Yep.
So we got that underway. That's going to be done very soon, probably in the next week or so.
Sick.
And then we've also got our other thing where we're going to be getting our shirts made offshore now. So instead of buying from a wholesaler, like, halfway through this year, we're hoping to be fully going offshore for the company.
Yeah, sick.
Like, every shirt that we all wear is made overseas.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So we're just trying to cut out a few more middlemen if we can.
Yeah.
But also, we wanted our own shape. We wanted our own fit, our own quality. So we're just going to step it up a bit this year.
Yeah, I mean, because we were just having that conversation that the quality is starting to slip on a lot of these companies.
Yeah.
And so to be able to have that control over it now, your own quality control, that's massive.
Yeah.
And, like, you've shown me the samples of what the product will be, and, like, if anyone's listening who's a Shred Life supporter, like, it's up there. It really is. Like, I think it's going to be really exciting, and definitely, like, a new level up for your business.
Well, it's exciting as well because Tennille's been a big help with this project that we've got going at the moment. So Tennille's been more involved than what I have with this process that we're going through at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's helped source who we're going through, and the fact that Tennille went ahead and got her own like dresses made, like t-shirt dresses and crops, and I'm just like, this is all sick. I love all this. I'm like, and I love that Tennille was just becoming more and more of a part of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, so I'm really hyped to just get into that. The other thing is, I think this will be my last year with night shift.
Oh wow.
So probably by the end of the year, I don't know, I'll see how it goes. But as far as like the body clocks and all that, I don't want to be doing it for the rest of my life.
Yeah. It's there's a really great book called The Circadian Code by Dr. Sachin Panda, and he's a neuroscientist, I believe, and all of his study and his doctorate and his thesis was about our sleep cycles and circadian rhythms.
Yeah.
And reading that and doing night shift fucked up my brain, because it's just like every time I was on night shift, I'm like, this is taking years off my life right now. Like, so it was good because there's a lot of tips in that book to get you through it and how you can minimize the impact, but we're just not meant to do it, you know.
Yeah.
It's so bad for us, and ends up leading to dementia and Alzheimer's and all these kind of things when you're not. That's why I harp on about 7 to 8 hours sleep for people and getting enough rest, because it leads to really, really bad, debilitating mental disease in the future.
Oh, for sure. And that's why I'm like, because I've acknowledged so much of this new information that's come to me. When I first started, I was just like, I don't give a shit. Guess what? Money's sick.
Yeah.
But then now I'm thinking, like, now I'm a bit older, I'm like, you know what else is better than money? Health.
Yeah, exactly. How much is your health worth?
Exactly. And so, yeah, that's why I'm just like, okay, well, I think, we're going to wrap it up this year. We're always waiting for Tennille to fall pregnant, and then that was going to be the thing. Yeah. And that'll be the change then. But clearly it's been postponed, and now I guess we're going to see, I think, this year it'll be the end of it.
Yeah, sick. I think that's definitely a good move, definitely healthy, and like, it's an unfortunate thing that like people doing certain jobs, it's just a reality that they have to live with. Yeah. So I think if people are concerned about their health and you are a shift worker, because particularly like hospital workers and stuff, like that's hugely important, and you kind of can't do without that. Yeah. So the Circadian Code by Dr. Sachin Panda, there's a lot of information in there, so at least you can do everything you can to minimize what effect it's having on your health.
I mean, if you can still live a healthy lifestyle, do it. It's different. I just feel like I've done it for, I think, 4 years now straight.
So, wow, shit.
Yeah. And then I was like, as soon as we went on holidays, I was like, sweet, I'm going to be sleeping. I'm getting up early every single morning, and then I'm just going to get 8 hours sleep per night. And my body clock still just wants to think that I'm going to have a nap and go have some smoke or something.
Yeah, just all over the shop.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, all right, there's a bit more planning behind this.
Hectic.
Yeah, anyway, but that's that. But that's that side of things. Shred life, that's exciting. As far as going anywhere, I want to go camping.
Camping?
So Tennille wants to buy a Stratty pass, because we've got a 4-wheel drive now. It's like, well, we're going to use it, aren't we? Yeah. So, because, we haven't been 4-wheel driving yet, so we would like to go camping. Yeah,
cool. That's one thing, like, Ryan and I were actually talking this morning about like doing vision boards for the year, what we want the year to look like. So it's just a bit more motivation and a visualization of what our goals are and what to strive for. And so one of her things was doing a lot more road trips, because obviously like international travel is still off the cards, and we might get it back later, who knows. But in the meantime, wouldn't it be cool just to get out and see more of the country? And you don't even have to go that far. But just taking little adventures like that. And so maybe a 4-wheel drive is on the cards for us as well, and being able to do Stratty and Fraser, and because I grew up going to Fraser Island and I absolutely loved it. And you don't have to camp there either. You can go get a little cabin on the beach, and it's pretty lush, so that would be dope.
So I think that'll be another thing that I'll do this year. How's gonna be the business? What's plans for the business this year?
Just keep growing it. Like, I've still got so much study to do. And it's one of those things where I always feel like I'm not good enough. You know, I don't know enough. Even though I do.
Mate, that's my life with anxiety. Just like I'm the jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe I'll always feel like that. It's kind of, I felt like that doing the band. I felt like that doing so many things in my life where I feel like an imposter or a fake, where it's just like I don't know enough, and
I know. Is that just how advertising and social media has led us to think that we're just, there's always someone better than us out there?
Maybe it could be that. Like, maybe it's an inferiority complex that I have.
Dean always had this theory. He's like, no matter how good you are at something, there'll always be a 7-year-old Asian kid better than you.
Yeah.
Not that it's got anything to do with race, but yeah, there is.
There always is. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It could be my own little inferiority complex or something that I've got to work through. Because, like, if I get something in my mind, it's like, I want to do that, I'll back myself and I'll do it 100%. But then there's still always this thing in the back of my mind, like, that's telling me, it's like, you don't know enough yet, you're not good enough yet, you've got to work harder on this. And it's like, maybe that's a good thing because it drives me to get better and go further. But there needs to be a leveling out of that, where it's like, well, no, I've done the work and I've got all this information and study and wisdom and clinical evidence behind me, so back yourself on that, you know?
That's the problem with being, see, you're still a creative person, clearly coming from music and all that. That's the creative background. Now, my theory is, with the creative mindset of a creative person, is that nothing is ever done. Yeah. Like recording a song can always be recorded and released, but you realize straight away, I could have made it better.
Oh, and like Blood Wolves, I listened back to that about a month ago, and I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we thought of doing that there and this there? Yeah. It's like, even though that's a record that I think like we did a really good job on and I still enjoy, it is just one of those things that it's like, you can just keep going and going and going and changing, and exactly, like it's never done.
Yeah, so that's, I guess I have that same problem with being like owning a clothing label and always trying to come up with new designs and new themes and all that. It's like, I do it, it's done, but then shit, now I've got to think about something else. Yeah. So it's nothing is ever done.
Yeah, fully.
You just got to pull the pin at some stage.
Yeah. Another, like, a common theme with me is always continuous development, you know, of yourself. Yeah. And across all planes. And so I know that I'm committed to my physical development, you know, getting healthier, stronger, more flexible, all that kind of thing. So my goals aren't changing with that. I just want to keep it up because I know as long as I'm doing, I'm improving. Yeah. But a big one for me, and this coincides with my study, is I want to get more into the inner and the emotional and the spiritual self. And start to work on that, because a lot of what I'm reading about and studying now is to do with psychology elements. And so there's a whole area of psychology and psychiatry that was developed by Carl Jung, and that's archetypes. And so this is basically the personality traits that we have, but where they come from. And so there was a woman called Carolyn Miss who developed that a little bit further. And so she split it into a couple of ideas, in that you've got your core archetype, and that's your mother, your father, and the Imago Dei, or the image of God. So those are the three things that probably have the biggest influence on us. And so obviously, like, whatever religion you're brought up with, that's going to speak to you greatly and be a massive, massive part of who you are and how you manifest in the physical world, you know? So, for instance, like the difference between Catholics and Muslims, you know, that's obviously going to be huge, huge shifts between those two people. But then you've got your mother and father as well. And so Carolyn Miss believed that your bridge to the outer world and how you communicate with the outer world comes from your same-sex parent. So for us right now, talking to each other, it's our dads having a chat while our mums are just chilling out. You know what I mean? And then how you speak to yourself. So when you go introspective and when you're in your own thoughts, that's your opposite sex parent. So, you know, when you're having a bit of an inner monologue, that's your mum talking to you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And once you sort of understand that, you really actually see it come out.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of my communication with the outside world is very based in logic, which is my dad. He's very like mathematical and rigid logic.
Yeah.
And then I'm very much an introvert, and so when I go introspective, I'm a lot more creative and flowy, and that's my mum coming through.
Yeah.
And so when you get beyond that, you've got I forget what she referred to it as, but it's essentially when you go into your survival, flight, or fight mode.
Yeah.
This is what you will always revert to, and people kind of flow between all of these, but there's always one that hits hardest, and so there's 4 of them. You're either the victim, the saboteur, the prostitute, or the child. And within the child, there's another 6 subheadings.
Yeah.
This is all like really, really interesting stuff when you get into the nitty-gritty of it. And when you understand it, you start to see people in your life and how they react to situations.
And different perspectives of it. Wow.
So for instance, me, I'm always the victim.
Yeah.
And there's a light side and a shadow side. And my shadow side, for instance, is I like to blame a lot of what I don't get done on my job.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm still in mining and I have to leave for a week, it's like, well, I can't achieve my physical goals because when I go out there, the food's not as good and my time is chewed up and rah, rah, rah. And while there is truth to that, I'm using that as a bit of a crutch. You know?
Right.
Not a crutch, a crutch rather.
Yeah.
I'm using that as a crutch where, like, there are definitely ways around that to minimize, you know, the impacts and maximize the benefits. And for instance, someone who's a saboteur will always undermine people in order to look higher than they are.
Yeah.
There's the prostitute, and the shadow side of the prostitute is somebody that puts material objects and material wealth before anything else, including their own health.
Yeah.
And then the child is always like, that's fairly self-explanatory, but then you get those subheadings of the child. So like the orphan child is maybe somebody that had a mum and dad that were quite apathetic. So they didn't actually have to be physically an orphan, but mum and dad just weren't very interested in them.
Yeah.
And so these people will always look for surrogate families and inappropriate surrogate families. So people who end up in bikie gangs,
Yeah.
that's the orphan child, and they're playing that archetype. So you can go through all these levels, but then you've also got the ones that we play day to day. So it's the masks that you wear every day. So when you go to work, you're somebody else than who you are at home.
Yeah.
You know? And some of that is just purely fitting in, you know, to make your day easier and whatnot. But a lot of it can be a really unconscious, malicious kind of shift.
Yeah.
And can be very manipulative. And so this is like a really interesting thing that I'm getting into now, of looking at what my archetypes are, and also what are the masks that I'm putting on that I don't need to, you know. It's just me hiding my true self, because every time you hide your true self, that's another part of you that's being inhibited, and that energy gets stored somewhere in your body and ends up becoming health issues.
Yeah.
And like scientists are starting to like admit to this, basically going like, yeah, there's something that happens in these psychosomatic issues that then manifests somewhere within the body as a physical illness or impairment.
Wow.
And so, you know, for instance, your liver will store anger.
Yeah.
And so if you're bottling up all your anger, it goes into your liver, and that can, you know, lead to all kinds of different issues. And not only of things like diabetes or whatever it might be, because they're so highly innervated by nerve structures, it can also be something that, like, you might start getting shoulder pain in your left shoulder because your liver's on that side. So you're getting all this anger bottled up in here, and now all of a sudden your shoulder's getting fucked up because of it.
Oh, really?
You know? And so one of my mentors is this guy, Matthew Sorensen. He's a really high-level Czech practitioner. And so he can go very, very deep in this stuff. And
what you're saying is, I'm like trying to reevaluate. Like, is there a mask on just for the podcast?
Oh, absolutely! Like,
oh my gosh!
Because like we talk slightly different as soon as we hit record, as to when I just walk in the door and we're just kind of like, hey,
what's going on?
Yeah. It's a bit more showy. Like the entertainer in us is coming out again, and you know, I play the scholar a lot as well. You know, somebody that's trying to always absorb information and that kind of thing and then disseminate it to other people. So right now I'm playing my scholar archetype, but I'm also playing my entertainer archetype.
Yes.
You know, I've kind of meshed them in together, and that's what's coming out in this, because you can't just hit record and talk the way that I usually do, because you have to have a little bit more charisma to maintain people's attention.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, because I think if you wanted to hear about my day-to-day shit, you'd be like, why do I listen to like what bills you got and stuff like that?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
But again, there's something, like I talked about, there's a bit of a shift that's coming through in culture at the moment where people are sick of like, oh yeah, everything's great in your life, fucking fantastic. Like, and the more people start to be real in their Instagram accounts and stuff, people are starting to connect with it more.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, you see that in, like when we spoke about the miscarriage. It's shitty. You know, that's not something that you want to be out there and be like, oh, look at this, we had a miss. You know, it's like, that's a shitty thing that you've had to deal with. And then all of a sudden people can kind of go, it's like, yeah, like we've had that too. Like we're similar. That's a point of connection rather than something that divides us, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And so people are looking for that all the time, as opposed to, you know, it's always good to have those lofty kind of goals of like, oh, look at these people with like money and success. I want that too.
Yeah.
But then you still need those grounding things that bring everyone in the world a little bit closer. And that can be those days where, you know, you get a flat tire on the car or a flat battery, or you're short on cash and you've got bills to pay, or the rego's due.
Yes. Well, there is, in the next episode, we're going to talk about minimalism.
Yeah, I'm excited about that, because I kind of already have some minimalist things in my day-to-day life now.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly not to the extreme that a lot of minimalists are.
Well, because we're going to have to wrap this up now, because we've just rocked up to Top Golf.
We're at Top Golf!
We're just going, oh shit, there's a heaps of people.
Yeah, it's school holidays, I fucking told you.
All right. Yeah, there's a thing that I brought up with Tennille, and it was, we'll bring it up again in the next episode, but it was, I'm like, why do girls buy one dress to go out with and then never wear it again? That's what you do with your wedding dress, but like, why do you do it? Like, what's the point of that? Like, why is it social suicide or whatever, but if you wear the same dress twice? Like, I have so many shirts that I keep wearing all the time.
Yeah.
Because if you look good in a dress, why don't you wear it again? You know you look good in it.
Yeah.
Like, wear it again.
Yeah, well, we'll get deeper into that in the next episode, because I have a whole bunch of theories about women's shopping habits. But,
yes.
And men are guilty of it too. I
sure.
should point that out.
No, like, trust me, I know, it's because I'm in a position where I have to, like, I still, okay, we're going to get into the next episode, because I'm about to get into it.
You're going to rant.
Yeah, I'm going to rant. No, okay, all right, cool. All right, sweet. Well, we're at Top Golf, and we're out to have some fun.
Yeah, we might put a vlog together of the Top Golf game, but thanks for tuning in. Nice little light episode of us just talking bullshit as usual.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, what do you reckon?
Yeah, what do you reckon?
All right.
All right, check you soon.
Catch ya.